was almost 10 years old, and he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and she's trying to sleep beneath a poster for a bank. Your dreams are important to us as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair. Back down the road I found the church we built on the black man's bones was empty, and out the front a sign read all but sold. A sign read all but sold. And we all owe so much money, but to whom we're not quite sure. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair.
Okay, let's get going. Howdy, John.
Howdy, Michael Gray Griffith. Yes, nice to see you. Always at the centre of controversy, aren't you, Michael? It's a shocking thing.
Well,
I don't know. You
it's-
have a natural instinct for trouble.
Yeah, it's a shitstorm thing. What do you want to talk about first? Because I've got
Right.
something here.
Mm.
This is arrested for a hate crime. So
Right.
what he did was speak at a rally, at an open mic rally. I don't know what he said, but he's, let me see. A man was arrested over an alleged open mic speech he made at the March for Australia rally in Sydney today as bystanders booed and yelled traitors at the police. He's been charged with publicly threatening or inciting violence towards a group.
And we don't know what he said. Do we?
No.
That hasn't been openly reported, so nobody knows what he's being charged with. Interesting. You
Looks like
have
he
to
lives in a
know,
nice
where
area.
is that? Is that Sydney Redfern? Is that Redfern? Can't work out the suburb.
What's interesting, if you go back here, look at the color of the armband on the police officer.
Red.
Yeah,
Or
like
is
an
it
old maybe.
red? Red for the
like
red.
like an old Nazi thing, that is either chosen properly or chosen badly, poorly. You know what I mean? So there is the new police arresting you for hate speech and or basically free speech, and the officers now wear these red armbands that might catch on.
So what's the red stand for?
Can't see it. Can't see what it is. Yeah.
Interesting. So there was just one. There was more than one yesterday, wasn't there?
I've only heard of one. I've heard of a woman. There was another one here. I've got another one here somewhere. And what's interesting is that someone. Here's another one. So this is a woman. This woman was told to move on because she was waving an Australian flag. The only other one to show you is this guy here. So I'll just bring this up. Dove Powell. This is from Australia Day. Now, people have been telling me, because I put out that thing, why aren't the flags anywhere? And some people are saying what they're scared of is that if they wear the flag out, they might get attacked by somebody on the left, or a Palestinian, Palestinian advocate, or I don't know, anyone else, and the police will do nothing because they're holding the Australian flag. But if it happened the other way, there would be hate speech. But basically, it's not good for the gander. It's only good for the goose.
Oh, this social inclusion is working very well, isn't it? Meanwhile, the commentariat on both left and right
here he is.
About the failures of multiculturalism and the hate
just
speech.
Watch this. I'll come back to you in a sec, but just watch this. The police are watching this and do nothing. And all he's doing is carrying the flag. Fuck off, Nazi. What they saying. Nazi.
Back off! Back off!
They're attacking him as a group. Look at them all.
Back off! Back off! Back off!
And who's the group attacking him? Who are they?
Sorry, that?
Who do we know who is attacking the bloke?
The ones attacking him are the ones who are for Free Palestine, and the ones who are for they want to call this Invasion Day. They don't want to have Australia Day. So he waved the flag, and there's police all around him. They did nothing, and he got basically brutalized by the gang or the protesters, and they're all yelling at him, calling him a Nazi. And the only crime he's done is wave the Australian flag on Australia Day in Australia.
Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? Australia Day has just turned into this absolute quagmire of conflict, and it's incredible to watch. I've just been in Vietnam for 4 months, and you can see flags from one end of the country to the other, Vietnamese flags, and they emphasize unity. Less than 1% of the population is born overseas. They're very proud. In contrast to here, the population is happy. They have a lot of self-pride. It's just booming. The businesses are booming. It's a really interesting contrast. Look, moving right along, because
just before I say that, I want to say I was in Clare, so I did a short about being in Clare. There was no Australia flags anywhere except on one chemist. But if in Australia now, if you want to make 400 Australians of different races, if you want to make their sphincters go super tight all at once, wear an Australia flag cap into a Woolworths on Australia Day, and they just
Which I understand you did, yes. I want to interview you briefly.
I had a little flag sticking out of my head, and this what happened. I was at the cold meat section, and he got this huge woman, and someone said to her, "Oh, so you're open today?" And she said, "We open every day except Christmas and New Year's." And I said, "Yeah, why would we open on Australia Day, which is our national day?" And sphincters. But I did actually feel, I thought, I wonder if they're going to call the cops. It was that tense. This is the woman who was serving me, because one employee there came up and said, "I don't see why it's a problem you're wearing." It's something like this. The woman serving me, because I only go to people serving me, is like this, scanning me, trying to get me out as quick as I can. It was historically tragically sad. I'm laughing, but I was really angry, and I thought this was disgraceful. Yeah, so moving on. What you got next?
Get with the program. Well, there's been massive, as you know, backlash on the hate speech laws. And just to add to the whole sense of social unity that we're now witnessing in Australia, Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister, Chris Minns, the New South Wales Premier, Chris Bowen, the Environment Minister, Penny Wong, the Foreign Minister, and Julian Hill, who is the openly gay Assistant Minister of Citizenship and Multicultural Affairs, have all put out statements marking the 77th anniversary of India's Republic Day on the same day as Australia Day. And of course, as you can imagine, this being the age of the internet, this has spurned thousands of comments online, not of all of which, us being such a respectable outlet, we can repeat here, but you don't need too much imagination to say what they say. So I thought I would just read the statements from our senior politicians in Australia about India's 77th Republic Day. Now, there are various estimates that the Indian immigration is now at record levels. It's a huge percentage of it is Indian migration, and there is a huge conflict over this, as you are well aware, having travelled through so many towns. But on Australia Day, the 26th of January, also coincided with India's 77th Republic Day. So Anthony Albanese, I'll just read the statements in full if you don't mind. Don't
Sure.
know. So the Prime Minister said, "On India's 77th Republic Day, I send my very best wishes to all who are celebrating India's rich history, diversity, and extraordinary breadth of achievements. The enactment of India's constitution in 1950 was a defining moment, fulfilling the ambitions of a proudly sovereign nation. India has embraced its place in the world, standing tall as a nation of innovation, resilience, and vitality." Pity you can't say that of Australia. "The enduring values of justice, equality, and liberty evoked 76 years ago are values that are at the heart of the bond between India and its many friends across the world, including, of course, Australia. On this special day," he's issuing this statement on Australia Day, just to emphasise that, on this special day, "we also celebrate our deep and cherished strategic, economic, and people-to-people connections between our two nations and the opportunities that are within our reach." Now, by various estimates, the figure is debated, but about 85% of Indian migrants vote Labor. That's been an argued over figure, but regarded as fairly reliable. So the Prime Minister continues, "I pay tribute to the many Australians of Indian heritage." It's amazing the loyalty of a voting bloc will get you. "Your hard work, energy, and aspiration and love of country add so much to this nation and to the close and warm friendship Australia enjoys with India. It is with great delight that I join with the people of India and everyone who has roots in that truly extraordinary country." It is an extraordinary country. I've been there several times. It's a amazing place, as you celebrate this milestone. Happy Republic Day. So that's from the Prime Minister. The Indian diaspora in Australia reportedly sent about $5.1 billion back to their villages and towns. So that's money that's flowing straight out of Australia to...
so $5 billion.
Yes, I suspect that's an underestimate, but anyway.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, some of the reactions were quite lively. Hang on, I've got these papers.
Can you read any out? Any that won't get us? Any that won't have the SWAT team break into both our places at the same time?
What's this about SWAT?
I said, can you read any of the comments out that won't have the SWAT teams break into both of our places at the same time?
Right, if I've got this right, hang on, I got the pages mixed up here. One Facebook reacts, Kathleen West. Australians call New South Wales home too, and a long time before the Indians did. It's actually Australia Day, just in case you forgot. Now, Chris... sorry, the wind blew all the pages. I should have numbered them. But that was Anthony Albanese, Chris Minns, the New South Wales Premier. Oh, I've got this all mixed up. Meanwhile, hang on, I'm just going to read straight from the web because the pages are all mixed up, and I wouldn't want to attribute the Facebook reactions to the wrong people, as you can imagine. So hang on, we'll just get the... hold on one sec. Yeah, we have some of the worst internet in the world, by the way, but that's another hobby horse. Oh, God, hang on, I've pulled up the wrong one. Indian National Republic Day statements, that'll do it. Good old Anthony. I think what's allowed people or encouraged people to become so hostile in their responses really is the hate speech laws, which were just churned through Parliament in a single day and through both the lower house and the upper house. And has caused enormous disquiet within the community. Sorry, Michael, what are you saying?
I just said a single day. That's extraordinary that they have such laws have been pushed through in a single day.
There were 6,000 submissions on the Act, which no one can read 6,000 submissions on a single day. They clearly didn't bother to read them. There was the bill itself was 144 pages, and the commentariat was 300. The memorandum or whatever they called it was 350 pages or so. So nobody's read the bill, and it was changed on the morning that it was pushed through. So nobody's read this bill. So people are or many of them haven't bothered to read it, and it was being pushed through Parliament without having even been read. So anyway, let's move on to Chris Minns, who put out a very nice image, which looks Happy Republic Day, 26th of January 26. And an example of that was the response was Kathleen West, Australians call Australia home too. Now, Chris Bowen, in addition to celebrating, he's the Environment Minister and an extremely controversial and extremely disliked member of the government, you'd have to say. Chris Bowen, in addition to celebrating Australia Day, I also extend my warmest wishes to everyone celebrating India's 77th Republic Day. Australians of Indian heritage contribute so much to our country, especially in our community. And of course, he, with so many others, has a seat in Western Sydney, so they relied on the votes. Today we acknowledge them as they celebrate Australia Day and Republic Day. Penny Wong, the Foreign Minister, put out a statement. Australia's partnership with India is stronger, deeper and more consequential than ever. Wishing my friend S. Jashenki, you'll have to that's the caption, you don't need that. As India marks this important day and Australia observes our own National Day, we reflect on the shared values and growing ties that continue to strengthen our relationship. And as an image of her shaking hands with her Indian equivalent. The Facebook reacts. Linda Elsley says, meanwhile in India, there is no mention of Australia Day, which I doubt very much there is. Who have we missed? We've got Penny Wong, the Foreign Minister. We've got Chris Bowen. We've got Chris Minns, and we have Anthony Albanese. So you can find all those statements on their Facebook pages. Yes, it's a very close and developing relationship, you might say, indeed.
Well,
which I think is interesting. Now, Michael, you've just been touring through many of the small towns of Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
As I understand it, you've noticed an awful lot of Indian local businesses being taken over by Indians, and a considerable amount of local reaction. Can you talk about the towns? And which was the first one?
The first town was, I can't remember the name of it. Basically, from Broken Hill, there were these small towns, and as we got closer, deeper into South Australia, they're very pretty towns. They're very old. They're all got they're made by the
Silverton and Silverton just outside Broken Hill. And all that.
Silverton, but coming in to anyway, we I don't want to. I often say their names wrong, but this is where people started telling us that the Indians are buying up all the towns, all the garages, the bakeries, the cafes, and the other thing that we were noticing was there were so many homeless people, and the homeless were all white and a few Aborigines, but basically white people. And the ones homeless that we couldn't see were the people that were talking to us. And these were a lot of mature Australian women who were living in cars or couch surfing and others. So you've got our community suffering. And then the rumor in the towns is that these migrants, not just Indians, these migrants are getting $40,000 grants and stuff like this. So when I went to Clare, most of Clare is owned by Indians, and the hotel, the cafes we went to, there was one big restaurant there that we looked in. There was nothing in it, and so I talked to you about it, and you've been researching the grants. I'll get to that in a sec, but I put out the question. We contacted the Tony Burke department. They never got back, and asked them, are these new migrants getting grants? They never got back. So I put the question out to the public. Does anyone know? And that went uber viral, had 360,000 views in a day on various platforms, enormous amount of comments, and people saying they're electricians and they go to these, like their town has 4 Indian restaurants have set up in the past year or so. Some of them don't actually, there's nothing in them. They're just a freezer, a mattress on the floor, and they're just empty shells. And so we're trying to find out more, and more people are saying it's 40,000, it's 50,000. One woman contacted us. She said she worked in an immigration center, and she said it was more like 100,000. And so as yet we haven't got the evidence. It's just this rumor that is just spread right across the nation. It came from everywhere, but you've been, and so we're still out. If there's any whistleblowers, and if it's a rumor, let's go. No, it's a rumor. It's not the case. These are industrial people who work together, and I think this is. I'll get to that in a sec. Let's finish with you. What have you found? Have you researched it all? Have you found any evidence to
Well,
this?
we're going to go through it over the next few days. We'll do a series of these short broadcasts. So today I just wanted to focus on the statements of public support for India's Republic Day.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, you couldn't make it up, coincidentally on Australia Day. So there's a huge, as you know, migration and mass immigration, which was never taken to the electorate, is probably, you would have to say, the hottest topic in Australia right now, because it's flattened,
absolutely
flattened wages, very difficult to get jobs, so on and so forth. You've seen the housing crisis, the cost of living crisis, and so on and so forth. So most jobs now, forget the exact figure, but the vast number of jobs are government jobs. So they can claim that there is low unemployment, but many of these jobs are either direct government employment or indirect government employment. So, go to an old age home and go to anywhere, any hospital, any old age home, or any government-run organisation now, and you will see this phenomenon. Now, nothing against the people involved. Many of them are really charming people. The Nepalese are really, I've just been in Nepal. There are signs all over Nepal, come to Australia, learn English, work, etc. And the Nepalese, I think there's about 200 and something thousand of them in Australia. I'd have to double check, but they're industrious, they're well liked, and they almost universally are homesick. They want to go home because Nepal's a really wonderful, beautiful country. And interestingly enough, Nepal, the Nepalese just overthrew their government. It was seen as the very first Gen Z revolution in the world. They've all got mobile phones, and they're all looking at these people going, "You're old, you're corrupt, you don't serve us," and they're all on their phones. So the Nepal of 50 years ago, when I used to go there, is no more. Women come up to you and talk to you. No woman 50 years ago, no Nepalese woman, a blind fit, would ever approach a man and a Western man and talk to them. Now they come up and chat away about, oh yes, my cousin's in Melbourne and working at a hospital or whatever. The young men are all fashionably dressed. They're all very savvy. It's the phones have driven this remarkable change. And there's been a lot of critique in Australia by people warning the government that by the absolute manipulation of media, which we've seen in this country, which is essentially either government controlled, as in the ABC, it's government owned, or heavily manipulated by government, usually through advertising. No one wants to offend the chief advertiser, etc., etc. So there are all sorts of ways in which the government has manipulated the media, and they were warned by media analysts that this would backfire, that the command and control instincts that operate in the agencies and in government, the military instinct of command and control, simply doesn't work when you're dealing with a public. So if you're dealing with media, and these people to this day can't understand why the public won't do as they're told, but we told them not to protest. We told them that multiculturalism was a success, etc., etc. So it's amazing. So, sorry, just if you can reflect a little more on the atmosphere in the towns. We'll come back over the coming days.
What I'm seeing, I'm actually seeing it like a dodo level extinction event over time, because the other one thing the rumor is that not only are they getting the grants, but the motivation to give them the grants is these are lifetime Labor voters. And I've had Indians tell me that their community votes Labor no matter what. And why wouldn't they? And then at the other side, this is why Labor is staying in power, is the NDIS, which seems to be an enormous scam. But at the same time, anyone who works for the NDIS or is on the NDIS, they're probably not going to vote against Labor, because why would you bite the hand that feeds you? So literally Labor is buying votes, or appears to be buying votes. But what I see differently historically is that we are going into hard times, and we've had really good times. And in those good times, we've forgotten about family and community. Everyone's for themselves. Go on, kid, go to university, be something. Most people sort of operate on their own story. Indians, Muslims, Pakistanis, Jews, all those people, they work as communities. If they buy a business, and someone said a business is $100,000, but what we've heard is that they combine the money. They combine the money, they buy the business, and then they have their relatives working there. Or, and then if they can't get a relative, then they'll bring in an Aussie. And so they are better suited to the harsh economic times that we're going into.
The harsh economic times that have been brought on by this government. And that's very true. We've seen all the people.
Times. So, and you look around, if you go to a country town, just go to any country town, go to the IGA in the middle of the day, and the Aussies are walking around, and I'm going to just say, let's be honest, they're fat. They're literally 70% fat. They don't have the courage to talk about anything. I mean, I had the Aussie cap on. They were just all terrified to talk. So, they're not courageous. So they're fat. They're a bit cowardly. And all this is happening, and they don't want to address it. This is whereas the Indians look fabulous. They're striding around with their heads up. Their men stride around as if, hey, look, I'm a Bollywood star. They look great. They work together. They're very pleasant with everybody, but it's clear they're very clever. I'm looking that a superior race has turned up, and that if we don't pick up our socks, then most of our community are dodos, and that's what I'm seeing. This is long term, and I'm talking, about another generation. But that's it. That's what I'm seeing in these country towns, which is probably going to get me in trouble with a lot of country towns. But that's what I'm seeing it. I've actually got a theory called dodoisticality, that if you turn up on an island and as soon as you step on the island, you become the superior race, which is what we did, you immediately start walking down the decline to your own demise, because you don't have enough natural enemies to stay frosty, to stay thing. Instead, you go fat, you grow stupid, and you're just hanging around until you forget how to fly, and then you're waiting there until a superior race turns up. Well, they're here. They're here. It's the rest of the world who is hungry for the dreams that we can't be bothered to chase anymore.
Well, I'm not quite sure you've been controversial enough yet, Michael, but we're going to keep these episodes short, tight and short, and we'll be back tomorrow with another update on the unfolding story about Indian migration in Australia. There's quite a number of senior figures in the commentariat that have been very critical of the rates of the mass immigration that's currently occurring. It was an issue that was Albo never raised the issue that he would ramp up immigration rates to record levels when he was running for Prime Minister, because he knew it wouldn't be popular. But here we are, and now they're passing through hate speech laws and basically trying to arrest and intimidate people who want to discuss the subject. So, and of course, so that just leads to this brewing, fermenting, sullen, nasty, and when you disempower people, potentially revolutionary and violent outcomes. So you really need to be very careful when you're manipulating the demographic future of a country, which is blatantly what this government's doing. And you need to be very careful step by step, or you will end up with a severe mess. It's already a mess online, and when that plays out in the demonstrations and the conflict that we're seeing on Australia Day, well, where to from here? That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow anyway.
I'm in Port Pirie, so it got pretty high today. It's come down now, but the on the news they're selling it like it's the hottest summer of all time, but it's just hot. It's just
it's hot. It's
actually
summer.
Summer. So tomorrow I'll probably be covered in oil because I've got to change the alternator. But so we'll see how we go tomorrow. But it's still beautiful out here. It's still, the country is still worth fighting for, and you better fight for it because you could lose it. You might be losing it now.
Well, Something Wicked This Way Comes keeps popping into my mind, that book by Ray Bradbury. I don't know why.
Oh, and this is the last thing, just to have a laugh. Some guy in Victoria, two gay guys, apparently they had some jogger run by them and called them poofters. And they decided to do a manhunt for him. Well, the Victorian government have gone on board with the police. So they're doing a manhunt. But they do have some CGI footage if anyone can identify this guy. There he is there.
Is he the guy that called the other guy a poofter?
No, I think that's a Betty Hill sketch.
Oh, right.
Someone put that up, but apparently he looked like that. But that's where we are. We've got all these issues, and the whole Victorian government is looking for a guy that called another guy a poofter.
Yeah. Well, they should come down to the locals at where I live, or any local really, and see how long you survive in the beer garden if you're going to get upset about being called a poof. Hey, Wolf, you're as ugly as you're even uglier than you were yesterday, mate. Like it's a standard Aussie greeting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's amazing. All right.
You know,
Take
they've
care. We'll go out the same
overcooked the
thing.
goose or over-egged the custard, whatever you want to say. All right, Michael, good to see you. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, the same. The same. Cheers.
Yeah, good to see you. Bye.
When I met Jesus Christ, he was almost 10 years old, and he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and she's trying to sleep beneath the poster for a bank. Your dreams are important to us, as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts. We make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair. Back down the road I found the church we built on the black man's bones was empty, and out the front a sign read all but sold. A sign read all but sold. And we all owe so much money, but to whom we're not quite sure. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. Come give us your